And that's why I feel like I'm here to be able to share my story, to be able to write about it, to be able to host a podcast, to even have been able to love myself enough to fall in love with somebody else.
So nice. Welcome to the very first episode of the Kind Culture podcast. Season 1, episode 1.
Oh, I'm so excited.
Super excited.
Yes. We've been working on this podcast for the past few months that we took a break from Umucha podcast to rebrand it, and Kind Culture was born.
Yeah.
And so we're so excited to take on this new journey on this Kind Culture podcast.
Yes.
Where we will be exploring a lot of kindness stories, compassion, love. We're going to share a lot of ourselves on this podcast.
Yeah.
And we hope that you can join us on this journey.
Yeah, and we are really going to delve into what kindness means to each of us individually, and we'll have people on throughout the seasons and ask them about what kindness means to them, and we're going to get deep. We're going to have some serious conversations, and hopefully we'll be able to inspire not only you, but each other about how can we spread kindness in our lives on a day-to-day basis.
Absolutely.
Because that's exactly what the world needs right now. It's not hard to conceptualize what kindness is, but to put it into action, that is exactly what we need to do. Because we talk about kindness sort of as this like pie in the sky thing. Like, oh, okay, just be kind. Just show kindness to so-and-so. Why aren't you being so kind? Yeah, okay, we talk about it.
Yes.
But the action of being kind and giving kindness, showing kindness.
How does that look like?
Yes.
Yeah. And how does that impact the world? And that's what we're going to be diving deep into and learn together, because we don't know it all. So
no, we're not perfect. This is a journey for us as well.
Yes, this is a community. We want to create a community where we can inform one another. We can learn from each other, and so that we can love as loud as possible and be kind and be compassionate. They all come together. And so so should we introduce ourselves?
Yeah, let's go ahead and introduce. Do you want to introduce yourself first?
Should I introduce myself
yes.
first?
Yeah, go ahead.
Knock
yourself out.
Dear Kind Culture community. My name is Dydine Ominyana. I am originally from Rwanda, a very small country in the heart of Africa. And I've been living in the States for the past 10 years, almost 10 years, 10 years yet.
Yeah, close.
Yeah. And on this podcast, I will do my best to share my upbringing, what my experiences back home, my experiences here. And hopefully some of you will learn something from my story, hopefully.
Oh yeah.
Or inspire you. Hopefully, but that's me.
That's a little bit about you.
I'm one of the things I do. I am a writer. I'm an author of Embracing Survival.
We got the book right here. Let's go ahead and plug that book in right here.
Yes, this is my first baby. And I've contributed to different books. I imagine reflections on peace, and my essay Butterflies is sat next to my heart. It's in there. You can read it. I have contributed to another book called Life, I Swear. It's a combination of stories of Black women in the world, in diaspora, in the U.S., in Africa, their own experiences, and it's an incredible book. You should find it and read it. And with all those writings, I'm going to add something that my husband here, Alex, we're married, has helped me a lot on a lot of edits you've done.
You're going to throw that in there?
Yeah.
I helped a little bit.
We work really well together. I think we are very kind to one another when it comes to our relationship, our work, and it helps it work. Kindness, I think, which is the core of our relationship, has helped us in a way that, I don't know, for me, when you get married, they don't tell you these things like, hey, kindness is the main core thing in your marriage. You have to be kind to one another, love one another, be there for one another.
Yeah.
Kindness.
Yeah.
And it really plays a big role.
It does.
Yeah.
It does. And that's what I was talking about earlier is that I think they do say that.
They do.
They have like the lists of things you got to do in marriage. Make sure you listen. Make sure our good friend Glenn Ford says, wait 10 seconds before you respond.
Yeah. You respond.
That plays a role into marriage as well. But being kind and actually like
with those seconds, within those seconds, think of kindness ways you can respond.
Yeah, think of kind ways to respond.
Yes, you're waiting for 10 seconds, but what are those seconds? Are you coming up with like the best, comeback?
Yeah.
Or you're using those 10 seconds?
Right. And how do you diffuse how do you diffuse the tension and the conflict?
Yes.
This is now turned into a marriage counseling podcast. That's okay. Then we're gonna get into that stuff as well.
All of it.
Yeah.
Yes. So I mean this episode it's called The Art of Compassionate Stories, or the season.
The season is called The Art of Compassionate Stories.
Yes, that's how we decided to call this.
Yeah.
And then the first episode is the journey of resilience. Yeah. So a lot of you go ahead.
I'll go ahead. Sure.
Introduce yourself.
I will, but I want to interject really quickly. Yeah. I wish we had a camera operator who can pan to your left, our right. We have our second baby.
Yes.
Our little puppy over here. If you might be hearing the breathing.
Yes.
I'm not sure if you can see her on camera.
Say something?
For those who can see her on camera, she's right there sniffing the microphone. But for those who are listening, you'll, I'm sure, listen to these very audible breaths. But that's our baby Mali, Malaika. She's right here with us as we're recording. But a little bit about me.
Yes.
My name is Alex Anderson. I am from Texas. I'm a creator. I am a filmmaker. I am a writer. I'm a writer now, right? Yeah.
You question it?
Well, no, I shouldn't question that. I am a writer. But I am a storyteller first and foremost. And that's what I've been doing pretty much my whole life in one respect or another. And that's, I think, I give a very unique perspective when trying to tell these stories and what I think about kindness, right? Yeah. I have, I think, probably a little bit of a different perspective on kindness than you and how I experienced it growing up and how, I think more importantly, how I gave it, how I showed it growing up as well. I was not the most affectionate. I was not the most, what's the phrase? I didn't show kindness. Giving, yes. That's not a phrase, the word. I wasn't the most giving of my kindness and my affection and my love growing up. And that was, a lot of insecurity involved. But in this journey of showing kindness, it's been a good challenge. Oh.
I got you, don't worry.
She picked something out of my hair. That's what wives are for. But it's been a real challenge for me, a good challenge for me in knowing how I show kindness and how I portray kindness in the art that I produce. In acting, particularly acting, in the films, the short films that I've been a part of and made. And just, it definitely paints a wonderful picture about who you are as a person. It reflects in your art and, the kindness that you're able to portray as well through the art. So that is who I am.
Do you know what's funny?
What?
I think you say that you don't think of yourself as someone who grew up being kind or something like that. But I remember when you said something about when you told your mom that we had been seeing each other. We weren't in a relationship yet, or maybe we were dating already. I don't know. But and then she asked you, why did Dydine fall in love with you? What did she say that she liked about you? And you remember what you said?
Of course I remember what I said, but you should tell them.
What did you say?
You should tell them. It comes, better out your mouth.
Oh, no, it does not. It just with an accent. Well, you said that I told you that I fell in love with you because you're kind.
Oh, I feel like it was more of like a definitive statement. But yes, I do remember you saying that.
Yeah.
Well, I said that as well.
I found because I grew up in the culture that's very community oriented, but I also my upbringing was post genocide.
Yeah.
I have seen my fair share of human emotions. To the darkest you can imagine, and to the lightest that you can also imagine.
Right.
I've seen the goodness in people and I've seen the darkness in people. And I'm always impressed and inspired by people who are naturally kind.
Okay. All right. Yeah.
Yes. And they don't even have to say, oh, I'm being kind to you, I'm doing this for you, or they just naturally, they are I don't know, their brain just tells them this is, just do this, and that becomes, for me, you realize
Yeah. So well, to bring it back to me, I agree. I think what you had seen as kindness, and I do think I am kind to people.
Yes, you're very kind,
but a lot of times, particularly
mind you, we worked together before we dated, so I had my time to vet you.
Sure, you did. Yeah, and we were definitely working customer service.
Yes.
In which being kind was, we would be fired if we weren't kind, essentially.
Oh, so you did it for work?
Well, partially. Partially I did it for work.
You tricked me.
No, but I also don't like... But okay, so I was going to say...
Yes.
It was a lot of trying not to step on toes. Right? And so, I like being kind, and I like making people feel good about themselves.
Yeah.
But it was on the flip side...
Yeah.
And this is not like, I'm not trying to focus on the negative, but I understand this part of myself as the conflict. It's like, if I'm not kind to this person, potentially conflict could arise, and I did not want to face any particular conflict.
Yeah, you don't like conflict.
I know, I'm avoidant of conflict in most areas of my life. That's a different, we'll get to that in another episode perhaps. But yeah, that was absolutely a part of like why I wanted to be kind. Because I guess that's one part of it. There's a saying, treat others the way you want to be treated.
Yes.
I don't want to be treated any way but kind, right?
Yes.
And so if I don't want to feel that way, why would I want somebody else to feel that way? So I did my best, do my best to try to be kind to people as best as I can. Now, obviously, there are times when you just run out of patience and you just don't have anything. Say, F it, I'm done with today.
Yes.
But, generally speaking.
I have those.
Yeah, well, I think we all do. I think as I get older, I have a little bit less patience with people. And I have to remind myself to just be like, listen, they're having whatever day they are.
Yeah.
I'm having whatever day I am. And let's just do our best to be kind with one another.
Yeah. Yeah. Absolutely. And that's an incredible strength to think about that in the moment, especially.
Yes. Yeah.
Like for me, I smile a lot. My personality, I think even when I'm facing things that are difficult for me, I laugh at it. Like I smile at it. And so it will be rare that people see me break down or lose my patience. But I have my moments. It's very interesting sometimes when you break down alone or whatever in the private settings, or the people that you trust most, that's me. And you're like, am I kind enough? Why am I having these feelings? Or so because you want to be loving and kind to everyone, but you're like, this world is not as kind.
No.
Yes. Where do I fit in? Not always. Because we may think that way, but the world is kinder than we think. There are more kind people in the world than we think.
So, Dydine.
Yes.
Do you mind sharing your story about healing through compassion and how that has sort of shaped your perspective on kindness and kind of who you are as a person?
Oof.
It's a big question, I know.
Yes, that's a really big question, but it's healing through compassion. It's every survivor of any kind, I think, would say the same thing. Is that when you go through hardship, like surviving is one thing, but surviving after surviving, it's a completely other thing.
Yeah.
And and so you need more compassion than anybody else, I would say. You need because you lose hope in humanity, especially for me. I'm a genocide survivor, Rwandan genocide against the Tutsi. You know, my family, you know, was killed, and you know, I saw the worst in humanity at a very young age, and that was my introduction to humanity. And so growing up in a country that was in such pain, you know, everyone was, you know, in the misery, everyone was hurt, and you know, hurt, they say here in the US, that hurt people, and it's very true.
It's not just the US, they say that everywhere.
I guess in English speaking country,
it's English colloquial.
Hurt people. When you are surrounded by people who have lost everything, and everyone they ever known, they don't have the love to give. They don't even want life for themselves. And so you're pretty much expecting more than they can give you. And so that was pretty much my upbringing.
People's cups were completely empty.
Yes. And so you end up at a very young age, you experience that, you get a teenage years, and you know how teenage years are. The most hard part of your life, because you're figuring out who you are. And so when you're in that setting, it gets even harder. Whenever there was an act of kindness, even if it was small, I think it was so big for me, because I had seen little of it. And so I think every bit of kindness that I experienced, if it was my classmate was kind to me, if it was my neighbor that was, you know, which I had a lot of those stories. In embracing survival, you realize that we are in this life together. We can't really survive alone. No. And so all those beings that came in my life, they were not even supposed to probably be in my life. Their compassion, their love, their kindness, I think, give me hope in humanity. And I think, and as I always say, that the hope is like a little friend that walks you through life and never leaves you. And so having people that were compassionate to me, I think it gave me that hope. It gave me that little friend to walk with me. And that's why I feel like I'm here, to be able to share my story, to be able to write about it, to be able to host a podcast, to even have been able to love myself enough to fall in love with somebody else.
So nice to hear.
I think it was, I would never have had imagined, you know, how that works.
Right. I mean, it's brave. Like, if you have no concept of, maybe not no concept, but not necessarily a lot of examples of that, then how do you attribute that to yourself? Like, how do you put yourself out there? It takes a lot of bravery.
It does.
A lot of courage to then just try what you kind of sort of kind of understand.
And it took me it took me a longer time than most people, but I got there. I got there on my own timeline.
Yeah, of course.
And so I think the compassion, you know, really helped me from other people, but also being kind to myself. Having compassion towards my own path. I think these hardships, they teach you how to be resilient, how to be okay for not being okay.
Yes.
To just embrace it, embrace whatever that comes, and knowing that tomorrow is gonna be better. And that, I think,
having that hope.
I think, I think I had a very strong mother that, oh God, I mean, she went through worse than I will ever know. But she always had hope. And I mean, even if we didn't have food at the table, her words was, oh yeah, tomorrow, you're gonna have more than you need. And we were just so excited about tomorrow that today did not hurt as much as it could have. And so I've had my fair share of compassion throughout my lifetime. And it has walked me to this moment, and hopefully to a longer
It's something that's interesting because you carry it within. I see it every single day, but you carry that with you like almost like a physical thing. You know what I'm saying?
Wow.
Well, it's just because it's something that you have clung to for most of your life.
Yeah.
The hope and the idea that if I wield this thing called kindness, then that will get me where I want to be. It will get me to the next step, right? Because there's times in your life where all you could see was the next step forward.
Oh, yes.
You couldn't see what was going to happen
very long time.
5 days from now, much less 5 years from now. You just had, this is the hope that I have, and this is what I want to be.
This is what's happening, that's it.
Yeah, I can just get the next step, and then the next step, the next step. And so that's something that you wield. You're very familiar with wielding that. And I say wield because I'm not like a sword, because it's not like a violent thing, but it's something that you, it's almost like you're guiding.
My tool.
Your tool. Yeah, exactly what it is.
Yeah.
And so more than most people in my life, it's only a handful of people that I've known personally who have been able to sort of wield that the way you do, this tool that is hope and kindness, and the way that you do. And so when it's more of a tangible thing, then I think it's easier for you to use. It's easier for you to be able to know how to apply these things in your life directly. Yeah. Whereas a lot of other people in this world, it is more of a conceptual thing. It's something that they can kind of like envision in their mind.
Yes.
And then they kind of have to just be like, okay, well, this is what I think it is. And there's just not a lot of practice and not a lot of dependency.
We're not forced to. I think I wouldn't have minded, to be born at a different timeline, a different country that had peace.
Sure.
Maybe I would have become, I don't know.
Like me.
No, I would have probably been like a Valley girl or something like that, and with a different accent.
A Valley girl in Rwanda.
Oh yeah, trust me, in Rwanda we do. A new generation now, we good.
Okay.
Yes.
Sure.
Yeah.
What are you saying?
But unfortunately, I was born at that time, and when my country was going through just so much, and so. I have never known anything else. And everyone around me was forced to learn how to be, to be kind to one another. Yeah. Otherwise, there's no survival.
Yeah,
I think it was
out of necessity.
Yes, out of necessity. I mean, I grew up seeing at my mom's house, we had, in my new book that we were working together on, it's about dreams. And my mom was very much of a believer of her dreams would come true. Night dreams, not like I'm dreaming about this. No, like the dreams that she's had.
Like sleep dreams.
Yes, the sleep dreams. And she would write them down in her journal. And most of her dreams were literally the answers to everything we want in our life. Yeah. And she would read them to us, and I'd be so excited that that's how our life is going to look like in the future.
Right.
And so to the point, and she knew so well how to translate them. And so she would have a lot of women at our house, widows, because, during genocide, a large number of people that were killed were men. They were on the lists. So at the beginning of genocide, most men were killed, like the first, the 30 days of the genocide. And then we had young men. We had a lot of orphans after genocide and women. And so a lot of these women will come to my mom's and with their dreams are like, oh, Devota. My mom's name is Mama. Devota. And I know you call her Mama Devota. And they would tell her their dreams so she can interpret them. She can translate them. I think I don't even know she knows that there was the power of, unconscious mind, just like I think when you're going through so much, sometimes you don't have solutions for it during the day.
Right.
But at night, your brain does not stop working.
No.
And a lot of the times, your brain will give you the answers to the things they were thinking about, but you are asleep. So you think of them as, I think that's how I think about it.
I'm thinking she pulled something from the universe. I legitimately believe that. I think she pulled something, or unconscious mind, more powerful than what we understand. Yeah. And then, she made things happen.
Yeah. And so she had those things that you know, she was so kind with the little things that she had.
Yeah.
So I kind of saw those examples, or she had to. And a lot of people give us, you know, kindness when we give us shelter when we needed to, food or things like that. And so as you were saying, we were kind of out of necessity, exposed to compassion, to love, to community. That it just became normal.
Right.
It just became normal.
Was and you saw it work and push things forward to
and
a better place consistently.
Yes, it does work.
So you then began to believe in
even
kindness.
Little things. I think there's something that we forget. Like, let's say you give someone just a smile in the morning. You don't know how far that smile can go. So that's an act of kindness. You don't know if you tell someone something really nice or compliment them on something, how much you can change their day.
You can change it significantly. And again, it's something that if you see kindness, if you see being kind to people, you see that work in your life to propel you, not only, you know, getting to where you want to be physically, but emotionally and spiritually. If you can see that change you, transform you, particularly at a young age, then you learn, like, oh, again, it's a tool. If I use this tool, not only does it better the people around me, it betters myself and how I operate in this space, in this world. And it's a magical, transformative thing.
It is, and it's infectious, like we say. You start here, but you never know who else is going to learn how to give a little. Or enjoy receiving.
Right, exactly.
Yes. And so I'm so excited about this podcast.
Yeah,
you know?
Me too.
We have so many stories, so much to give you guys.
Yeah.
And we are going to have special segments where we highlight a story of kindness, like that's happening now. And
or something that we experienced,
like
something
fun,
that we did.
Something we experienced or we did or we heard of, and we can also highlight some of our listeners' stories. You can send us some of the.
Oh yeah, please send your stories if you have, especially long, like juicy stories of kindness. Oh, we'd love, we'd love to delve into that.
And your story can be chosen to be on the podcast. So I know that everyone in this world, you have experienced some kind of kindness, or you have given it to someone, and it made you feel amazing. Yes. So we want to hear those stories. We want to share those stories because it's really important to highlight these stories, because hateful messages, hateful stories, they are loud, and we don't want them to be louder than kindness stories. We don't want to be louder than love stories. And so please join us on this movement of spreading kindness all around the world and telling these stories.
Let's normalize it. It's something. And again, you always say, let our love be louder than hate. Don't let hate be louder than love. Let's try to normalize kindness. People kind of like scoff at kindness, and I think that's telling. Why do we do that? That's a question that we should seriously ask ourselves, and many people who we will have on this podcast. Let's continue to analyze that question. Why do we just roll our eyes at kindness, and why is it something that we take for granted? And how can we make it something that's normalized, have it be in our daily rotation of who we are as people and how we want to operate? It's easy to focus on the pain, because we all experience pain. Pain is unavoidable in this lifetime. But pain doesn't have to be a negative thing. Not even things that are done to you.
You can use it for your own good. You can use it as a tool to move you forward.
Yes, absolutely. And so if that's something that you want to focus on, then let's try to rework how our brains operate and look at how kindness can be not only a positive tool for others, but a positive tool for yourself. It will absolutely transform who you are and how you see this world. And again, I'm not trying to be hypocritical because I'm I struggle with it. You struggle with being kind.
We all do. We have to remind ourselves constantly.
It's a constant thing.
Am I being kind enough?
Right.
Like, asking ourselves those questions can help. Or am I being kind to myself? Because that's a question that we usually don't take into consideration, because we can be mean to ourselves even more than we can be mean to anybody else.
Yes, we can be very kind to other people, but if you're not kind to yourself, then I think you're being disingenuous.
Yes, very, very true. It's a hard truth. And so remember to be kind to yourself. Remember to say nice things to yourself. And remember that whatever that's happening right now, it's not the end of it. You know, tomorrow is going to be better.
Yes.
Yes.
And if not, then the next day will be better.
Oh, yeah, or the next day. And just wait for that day. Yes. So we have more of these fun stories every episode, every week, every Monday. Every Monday, we're going to have an episode at 6 a.m.
6 a.m. Pacific time.
Pacific time. Yes, we're in Los Angeles. I forget to mention that.
Yes.
Yeah, we're a global movement. Why stop in LA?
Oh, hey, I like that. That was a bar.
Yes. And so we'll have a lot of more stories for you guys. Yep. And we hope you can join us in this movement. And we can do this. We can do it.
Yeah, one day at a time. And it could be a slow movement. It could be a fast movement. But if at the end of every single episode, somebody can think to themselves, okay, let me try to be kind today. Let me try to be kind for this moment. Yeah. I'm about to go to the mall. I'm about to get into traffic. I'm leaving work. I'm going to work. Let me be kind to my coworkers. Let me be kind to my mama, my kids, my dog, whoever. Yes. If you can make that change in the moment, then that's just a ripple effect that you will have hopefully throughout the rest of your life. And so that's our goal for this for these conversations. And we hope you all join us for this incredible journey in understanding kindness and how to implement it in our lives and in the world.
Perfect. So go ahead and subscribe to all our channels everywhere you find your podcast. And we have Instagram. You can follow us on Instagram, Kind Culture, and then you can also subscribe sign up for our newsletter. We write blogs about these kindness stories. Kindculture.org. That's where you can find more information about this podcast. You can also support us. We don't mind your support. You can be kind to us. We have a Patreon, Kind Culture with Alex and Dydine. It's a Patreon where you can support us. And we're also on YouTube.
Yeah, also on YouTube.
Yeah.
But you know that already if you're watching this video.
All right, friends. The Kind Culture community, thank you so much for joining us on this episode. The first episode. First
season. Yeah, let's do it.
Of resilience.
I'm excited. Let's keep it going. Let's keep this ball rolling.
All right. We'll see you next week on Monday at 6 a.m. Pacific time.
Bye.
Bye.